What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another episode of Grey Man Operations. Today we are going to be doing a review of the 511 Select Carry pistol pouch. I'm going to show you how I run mine. I'm also going to do a top down where I literally take you through all the nitty-gritties of this pouch and show you which firearms do and don't fit in the sucker and how they fit in the sucker. Those of you who follow me on Patreon will know that from this week, from this video actually, for the next 4 weeks, I will be giving one of these away to one of my patrons every single week for the next 4 weeks. And then in December, end of December, we will be giving away another Canic. So if you want to get in on that and stand a chance to win, you can join on Patreon via the first link in the video description below if you're watching on YouTube. If you found this video on Facebook or Instagram, the link is the first comment. This is ideal for guys who want to hit the gym with their firearm on them, cyclists, motorcyclists. The thing with motorcyclists is they can carry appendix. Yeah, it's a bit uncomfortable, but that's life. But the motorcycle jacket is so tight, you can't get to your firearm. This is really, really cool. But I do want to talk to you about this as a holster. Now, as a holster, I reviewed it as a holster. And one of the things I focused on was comfort. Well, that's pretty simple. It is super comfortable, okay? We'll talk about the straps and everything when I do the top down, but this is probably the most comfortable way you can carry a firearm as far as I'm concerned. The next is it actually usable as a holster? Now, for me personally, for a holster to be functional, I've got to be able to get my firearm out in the fight in under 1.7 seconds. Now, from a standard appendix, I hover between, I'd say 90.90 and 1.3, 1.4 at the slow end. But I was always told 1.7 should be your maximum baseline of the amount of time it takes you to get a first shot off. So with a lot of practice, here are some of my shots that I managed to get off with the Select Carry pistol with a shot timer. So guys, as you can see, with practice, you can get pretty fast. I know a lot of guys who draw the first shot are like 1.7. The fact that you can do this with a off body, kind of off body, it's on your body, but it's off body, is really, really cool. The thing I want to point out is this is mess-upable. Do not think that you are going to get this and all of a sudden be at that speed. I have done hundreds of draw strokes, and I've messed up many of them. So it's going to take you time to develop the body mechanics required to know where to put your hand, how to put your hand, that sort of thing, to set yourself up for maximum success. And even now, I still fumble it every once in a while. I do just want to say, guys, this is not a replacement for a holster. This, in my opinion, should not be the rule. It should be the exception. On the days when you're going hiking, when you're going cycling, when you're doing something active, going to the beach and you're wearing your board shorts, but you still want to make sure you have your protection with you, this is where that comes in. 90% of the time, you're going to want to run your firearm in your standard AIWB or strong side Kydex holster. Talking about hiking, you can wear a backpack with this. The strap is thin enough and the buckle is curved enough to where you can wear a backpack with this. Super comfortable. Actually, if you're wearing a backpack, you won't even know that you are carrying the 511 Select Carry pistol pouch. With all of that said, let's flip the view and take a look at the sucker in closer detail. Okay guys, so now that we know this thing works, let's talk about it and get up close and personal. I've got quite a few firearms here. They do all have their mags in, but they are all empty and safe. I'm going to show you what does and doesn't fit, but I want to put the mags in because having the mags in the firearm actually does make a difference. So let's start off at the beginning. On the front side, you will see this panel. Now, this panel is designed, it's a color contrasting panel designed to make this whole thing look smaller than what it actually is. So it kind of looks like there's no way you can carry a firearm inside here. I mean, if you take a look at that, you can see the firearm is bigger than the panel. Okay, so that was actually specifically designed by 511 to make it look like there isn't a firearm inside here. Then at the bottom, you've got two loops. If you want to attach like some kind of dangler or something onto here, you can carry a tourniquet or whatever the case may be if you want to. I try to keep this as minimal as possible. You've got your main compartment, which I'll get to in a second. You've got two smaller compartments on either side. Now, the thing is, these compartments are really small. Like, you're going to fit like a credit card, maybe a key fob in there. You're not going to fit like a tourniquet. You're not going to fit a spare mag. These are super tiny pockets. They'll hold like your gym card, random things like an ID. So if you're going cycling, for example, you can at least put something in it to be able to carry a little cash maybe, that kind of deal. But they're not designed to carry a ton of gear. Okay. We'll talk more about the front in this. Actually, before we go over to the back, the zips here on the main compartment, as you can see, are interlocking. So if you want to lock the sucker down, let's say you're going away for a weekend or whatever, and you're safely where you are, and you're all safe and secure, and you don't want the kids or anyone getting near your pack or getting into your pack, you can put a padlock through there and lock this compartment down. The straps that go around your back are nice and thick, which I really appreciate because it just means it doesn't dig into your back as much as a thinner strap would. And with carrying a firearm, you do want that pressure to be dispersed over a wider area as possible. They are thin. This is your normal, like, seatbelt material kind of strap. The quick release clip at the back is nice and solid and has a very nice audible click. This sucker isn't going anywhere. It's curved, which is also nice, so it sort of curves with the curvature of your back. You don't notice it. It's nice and big and solid, but when you're wearing it, even if you're sitting down with your back against something, like I said, I've been to the gym with this on, I've done bench press with this on, you don't really feel this. It's definitely 100% bearable. And then the strap also has these keepers, which you can just sort of pull down. That's nice because I hate things hanging around and flapping around, so they're on both sides. So it's like a elasticized keeper. So you can just run it so that your straps don't flap around too much. And then on the part that interfaces with your body, you've got this very plush, breathable material. It's padded. I suppose you can slot something in here. This goes all the way through. My fingers are touching. You've got one here and one here if you really want to do, but this is nice and soft and breathable, and this is the part that would go against your chest. Like I said, I consider this more of a sling bag than a fanny pack. I don't like fanny packs, and it works best as a sling bag. And then you've got a soft Velcro panel here and a soft Velcro panel here, which I've covered up with a piece of Velcro. I'll explain that in a second. Okay, now into the meat and potatoes of this pack. The zips are quite robust and they open up to this situation. Now you'll notice at the bottom here, you have these pull tabs. When they are closed, let's say you are right-handed, you close it, but you keep this one pull tab out. Now on the inside of this pull tab is another piece of Velcro that interfaces with this piece of Velcro, so you can sort of lock this down if you want to. I don't like doing that. It just makes you fumble a bit when you want to actively draw. So what I've done is I've taken the Velcro from like one of my gear patches and just cut it into a square, covered that, and then cut the other side into this shape and covered that, so that we don't have this piece sticking to this Velcro. Because when I go for a draw, I don't want a little material. I want as much material as possible to grab on and yank. Talking about that draw stroke, when you draw the firearm with this, pull this tab down to here, not down to here. You want to pull it so that when you finish with your draw, your hand is at the bottom of this side. If you pull it across, which is sort of like the natural way of doing it, if you pull it across like this, do you see how it only opens a bit? Whereas if you pull it straight down, it opens the whole thing and reveals your whole firearm. Now in the firearm compartment, you'll notice there are two of these little pull tabs. This basically means if you're left or right-handed, you will have a pull tab available to you if you close the sucker up. So it doesn't matter whether you're left or right-handed, you're good to go. And then what you've got here is a elasticized keeper. I really don't know what you could put in here. If you're carrying a subcompact, you might be able to put a mag in here, but if you're carrying a compact, it's not going to work. And then you have the actual holster side of things. You'll see there are two elasticized keepers, so you can put the firearm in this way if you're left-handed, and this way if you're right-handed. Now, let's talk about the firearms and the way that they fit in here. So, starting off with the most common of them all, like I said, guys, it is empty and safe. On the promotional material that I've seen, people actually run this holster with the gun in it like that. Okay, it's a bit dodgy for me to do that. Not dodgy. I mean, it's safe. Like once you close this up like this, just get it closed up. Your trigger guard is secure. You can't pull that trigger. There's no way you're gonna be able to pull that trigger. I just worry that if this leans forward, that you might get a situation where the firearm could fall out, even though actually doing that, it's highly unlikely. But, for me, just better safe than sorry. So if I was going to run it without a holster, and I'll talk to you about the holster in a second, I would actually run it like this, where I take the firearm and I slot it into here. And this is hard to show on camera, but I actually wrap this around the trigger guard, because now your trigger guard is nice and protected. Your trigger is nice and protected from this, as well as I would then tuck this strap in here like such, and then close it up. So now it's nice and protected. When I go to open it, and obviously it'll be on my body, I can pull it out and we are solidly good to go. Now, before we get into the holster, let's talk about which firearms will fit in here and how they fit in. If you have a subcompact, empty and safe, if you have a subcompact, you can fit the sucker in here with an optic. I'll just show you. So that's how I would have it in there. Okay, pull it over, tuck that nicely into that corner. I suppose at this juncture, actually, let's just see. I suppose at this juncture you could tuck a mag in here because it will kind of go behind like that, right? But still, I just feel like it's too much in there. So a subcompact will fit in there with a subcompact style optic. Now I can tell you that this is the only type of firearm that will fit in there with an optic on it. If you're going to go any bigger, the optic has to come off. Now my Meta SF will fit in there, and I'll show you it in a second. But what's amazing is my SFX. This is a big pig, right? It can go in here, but it has to go outside of the little elastic holster keeper type deal. You can tuck the sucker all the way in there, right? You can't run an extended mag on any of these, but you can tuck it all the way in there. Just get it nice and deep as possible. And with a bit of finagling, you can get that sucker closed. Can you honestly tell me that this looks big enough to be carrying a full-sized firearm? That's crazy, right? How insane is that? And then you just remember when you pull almost like this kind of thing. You want to start off your pull down to the bottom, but when it starts loosening up, pull to the bottom edge. So diagonal in the beginning and then all the way across back to the same side. And you'll find it will reveal your firearm and you're good to go. Now, here is how I like to carry it. When I carry it with my Meta SF, which is the firearm I've been training with, I take one of these. Now, this is actually for a Glock, right? This is a trigger guard holster for a Glock. And it actually fits the Meta. It's not perfect, but I mean, it stays on there and it's got a degree of retention. So what I do is, you can get yourself something like this from Quantum Carry Solutions. It's called a casual trigger guard holster, and they have them for all the popular brands. But like I say, if you have a Canic, I think get yourself the Glock one, and you should be good to go, right? So what I do is I take this and I string it through the elastic strap and then through itself like that. So now it's tied to the strap. Then I put it on and I tuck the sucker all the way in there, and I actually turn the gun a bit in the holster. You see how it's like sitting away from the back of this. It does kind of flatten out, but I just like to turn it because it means when I open it, I just find it reveals the firearm better. And what's nice is if this is on my body, I can, let's say this is how it's sitting on my body, I can come up and out and clear my body before the trigger guard has fallen away. It's just like, I just feel this is a more safer bet way of doing it. Now, obviously, like I mentioned before, there is no substitute for actually carrying a firearm in the holster. But if you're going to be cycling, if you're going to go jogging, if you're going to go to gym, that kind of thing, carrying it in a holster is enormously uncomfortable. And most people just don't. So this is a very good option. So guys, that's the 511 Select Carry Pistol Pouch or holster. I call it a holster. Don't look at it as a sling bag. Don't look at it as a fanny pack. Look at it as a holster that you carry in a different manner and gives you different capabilities. Let's switch the view and do the patron giveaway and see who's going to win one of these this week. Okay guys, so if you've been a patron for any length of time, you will know what's about to happen. I'm going to take the names of our current active patrons. There are 249 of you, which is actually quite good growth. Very, very happy. I'm going to paste that into our name randomizer. This is going to randomize the order of the names, and we have 249 randomized names. Then I'm going to go back to Excel and I'm going to take numbers 1 to 249, and I'm going to paste this into our random wheel of names. So paste that, just go to the bottom because there's usually one extra space. There we go. Then I'm going to shuffle the order. So as you can see, 249 entries. I'm going to click to spin, and the number this stops on is going to be the winner, obviously, of the corresponding number of our name randomizer. It's confusing, it'll make sense in a second. So number 17. And number 17 on our name randomizer is Sheldon McDooling. So well done to you, Sheldon. I will get that pouch off to you ASAP. I'll probably make contact with you on Patreon tomorrow. Let's switch the view and we can end off. So well done to that patron. Guys, I forgot to mention this is available from CHS Guns here in Cape Town. So if you aren't a patron and you want to buy yourself one, or if you are a patron and didn't win this week and you don't want to wait until next week where you could potentially win, check out CHS Guns. They have this in stock. It's a very, very cool option for people who are sometimes unable to carry the firearm in more conventional ways. Also check out Quantum Carry's website where you can get that small sort of trigger guard covering holster. I think it's the best way to go. It just adds a little layer of safety and security, which makes me feel a lot more comfortable. Dudes, the 511 Select Carry Pistol Pouch, I think it's cool, right? I think it's definitely a solution to a problem that a lot of people often have with having to carry their firearms and not being able to carry it in a normal or more conventional way. That is it, guys. I will see you next week for another review. Have a good week. Be safe. Train hard. Cheers. God bless.